I never forget.
Okay. Are we live? Let me see. It looks like we might be. Yes, we are. It says we're live anyway.
I think we are.
Yeah, I always hate the spinny thing takes forever.
Oh, I know.
Ah, yeah, I see it.
All right.
Yes. Okay. Hey guys, happy Thursday. I missed you all on Tuesday, but we're on a new track where I'm going live in the group every Thursday instead of Tuesdays and Thursdays. Now, I put a reminder up on Tuesday, so I hope you guys didn't log on in anticipation that I would be here. But we're going live on Thursdays, and today, what a kickoff that we're going to have for this whole new schedule. We have Jean Hambrick. She is a criminal attorney and a friend of mine. I met her about a little over a year ago. And so we have Jean joining us here in the group. She is an attorney. She's an author. And she is just an overall fantastic person that I'm so happy to add to my tribe. So welcome, Jean. I'm so happy to have you with us today.
I'm so happy to be here. I've been following your little show for a while, and I can't believe I'm actually a guest. Yeah. I'm honored.
Well, I'm honored to have you. I know that Jean also does live on her page, Hambrick Law, and also Jean Hambrick. And so I had the pleasure of going live in her group maybe back in October, and she was supposed to come on in December, and we just had so many scheduling conflicts. So it's perfect that you're joining me now. So I'm honored to have you in the group as well. And yes, our little show, as a matter of fact, speaking of which, I have gone live in the group 100. This is my 135th episode. If you can believe that. I actually found out because I'm going through all the videos and I'm labeling the episodes so that going forward, I can say, well, if you want to learn more about it, we talked about it in episode blank, blank. And so going back through, I'm like, what? 100. So you're 135, Jean.
That's quite a milestone.
Yes. All right. So let me tell you about Jean. First, I'll do a check-in. We've got Chris. Hey, Chris. Hey, Susan. Hey, Lori. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much for joining on. And so, yeah, we met about a year ago through DC Fempreneur, right? I think so. Yeah, a networking event.
Yeah, a year.
Yeah, it's been a year. And I love Jean. She's got a lot of spark and a lot of personality. She's really tiny. Like, I'm short, but she's like really tiny, but she packs a power punch. So don't let her size indicate whether or not she's a strong woman, because she definitely is. So I just want to tell you a little bit about Jean through her bio, and then we'll get into it, talking about your new book. I can't wait to learn all about it. So Jean Hambrick is the principal attorney at Hambrick Law. Ms. Hambrick exclusively handles criminal and traffic defense cases, primarily in Prince William County, but throughout Northern Virginia. She received her master's in litigation from the George Washington University Law School and her Juris Doctorate from Ave Maria School of Law.
Ave Maria.
Ave Maria?
Ave Maria.
Ave Maria. Oh, I see. Okay. Where is that?
It was in Ann Arbor, Michigan, and it moved to Naples, Florida. So I was in Ann Arbor for 2 years and Naples for 1 year.
I was going to say, you know what? There was a school with the same name outside Ann Arbor because we used to live in Ann Arbor.
Oh, that's so funny.
Isn't that funny? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. She recently published her first book, More Than a Fine, The True Cost of Speeding in Virginia. And hello, I just got a teenager with his temps, so I've got a billion questions, which discusses the often unknown consequences of Virginia speeding ticket convictions. So, wow, Jean. I met you before you were an author and you were working on your book cover, and I had the privilege of seeing it ahead of time. So I've got a lot to talk about because I have a teen driver with a permit. He just got his permit recently. And then I have my daughter who will be eligible, I think, in June. So, and I know we have a couple of people on. Suzanne's son will be driving soon too. So first of all, let me just back up and say, how did you become a lawyer?
How did I become a lawyer? Well, I wanted to be a lawyer, honestly, for as long as I can remember, since I was 5 years old. Nobody in my family's a lawyer, so that's not where it came from. I don't even know, but I love law shows. I love law movies, and I always wanted to do criminal law. And when I said in the bio that I exclusively do criminal law, it's because some lawyers are a jack of all trades, but not necessarily a master of any of them. So I specifically do criminal law, which is what I always wanted to do. I did want to work for the prosecution and for the defense, but I really wanted to be in court and criminal law. And when I decided to be a defense attorney, honestly, was during the Scott Peterson trial. If you remember, I think it was back in 2005, somewhere around there. It was the first time that I, at least, well, aside from the OJ case, the first time I had noticed huge media coverage of a case, and it basically seemed to me like he was being tried in the media. Because there were things that I thought that were being put out there that shouldn't be, that wouldn't necessarily get into trial, and I thought the jury would get tainted, and obviously the whole country knew about it. So that's when I really decided I want to be a defense attorney. Wow. That was when I was in college, and then I was pre-law. I think I double majored. I don't remember. Oh yeah, pre-law and psychology, and then I went to Ave Maria Law School. And then I actually got a job on the Hill in 2010, right after I took the bar exam. So I worked on Capitol Hill for 4 years. And the last 2 years, 2012 to 2014, I attended the George Washington University Law School to get my master's in litigation. And litigation is basically just trial work, which is what I always wanted to do. And then right after I graduated there, I went to work for a small defense firm in Fairfax. And after a few months, I started my own firm. And 6.5 years later, and now I'm super busy.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So speaking of criminal law, so what cases, I know you obviously wrote a book around traffic, but what is that your main focus, or do you take on other criminal cases?
Traffic and criminal. So any traffic or criminal case. So anything from traffic tickets up to serious felonies, including murder trials.
Wow. Well, guys, okay, I'm not encouraging anybody here, but it's always great to have a criminal defense attorney in your back pocket. So now we know. That's fantastic. I know I had a friend who was reaching out about an attorney, and I forget what they were asking, but they asked, do you have any attorney friends? And I said, well, I know a criminal lawyer. Like, oh no, I don't need, I'm not leading a criminal.
Everybody thinks they're never going to need one, but you know.
Yeah. So talk to me about your book. Well, first of all, we have Olia. Do you know Olia, right?
I do know Olia. Hi, Olia. This is the first time that I have been interviewed on StreamYard. And I cannot see any comments or questions.
That's Olia. My mom says hi.
Oh, hello. Jennifer's mom.
This is my sister-in-law. She says hi. Chris says happy Thirsty Thursday. He's always
not until after the live.
I know, right? That's Suzanne. She's a gold gritter too. So yeah, we know Olia. She's someone that we know from, well, I know her from DC Fempreneur as well. So
I know her from Marvin Powell's Roundtable.
Ah, yeah, Coach Powell.
Hi, Olia.
Fantastic. Okay, so talk to me about your book. Where did it start? Where did you see? I mean, I've not heard of another book out there, right? There's not another one out there talking about speeding in Virginia, traffic fines in Virginia. So where did you come up with that need? Did you just see a need there? That's the most of your cases?
Honestly, I'd been thinking about writing a book for a while, and I had a few ideas percolating. But what I really wanted to write a book on, I thought would be, I wanted to write a book on firearms laws, actually. And I just thought that it would just take a lot of time and research, and even if it's completely apolitical, it might not be taken, maybe the way that I had intended something to be taken. Mm-hmm. So I decided to put a pin in that. And I was like, what do most people care about? Because I thought it was really interesting because there are so many specific firearms laws. So I'm like, what do most people care about? And most people have received a speeding ticket. I actually have never received a speeding ticket.
Oh. Well, that's good. I can't say that. I can't say the same.
I know, but I thought, what have most people, what would be interesting to most people? And most people have received speeding tickets. So that's why I was thinking about reckless driving. I was thinking about traffic in general. Traffic laws in general would just have gotten way too out of control and be a huge book. So I just figured to focus on speeding, and it's been quite well received.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. So I know we have a lot of people who are interested in writing books, and I think it's remarkable that you found a need and wrote a book and really put yourself out there. And that I know that's not an easy thing, and it's such an arduous process too.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you put a lot of work, time, and effort into it. So talk to us about the book. Tell us about it.
So you mean tell you about all of the consequences of speeding convictions in Virginia?
Well, yeah, I know it's 22 chapters, right? So there's a lot of
chapters.
Okay. And this is specifically for Virginia because traffic citations and violations and laws are different state by state, but there's probably some similarities that travel over to the states, right? Certain things, maybe.
There are some similarities. The specific things like the amount of the fine and what's considered reckless driving, those things are specific to Virginia, but other things like the impact on your life insurance, the impact on your auto insurance, that applies regardless of any state. I mean, most of this in general applies wherever you get a ticket in the country, but it's just specifically Virginia. So just the big picture, the main things do apply throughout the country. So.
All right. So what's the first thing that we should know?
The first thing is if you prepay the ticket online, you are automatically convicted and you have a conviction on your record.
Well, wait a minute. Don't they encourage you to pay it online so that you avoid court costs and showing up and taking time off?
But you do not avoid court costs because even if you pay it online, you also have to pay court costs.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Oh, hey, Shay Newton. Good to see you, girl. Chris says we definitely need a firearms law book. This being around. Chris says we definitely need a firearms law book that could aid with interpretation of ATF rules. Well, that's coming from a federal agent. So, Gene, if you're looking for a second book.
Well, tell him I'll consult him when I write the next book.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Suzanne says, I received my first one ever 10 to 11 years ago in a speed trap coming home from Wilmington. Within 2 days, I had letters from probably 32 lawyers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that common?
Usually not for speeding tickets, but lawyers do subscribe to these programs that basically monitor criminal and traffic charges. I think it's more criminal than traffic. But yeah, and then so they subscribe and then they send out letters to everybody charged, or they whoever they want on the list, I should say.
Okay. So Shay says automatic conviction for paying online. Okay, so Jean, talk to us more about that. That's crazy because they encourage you to do that, but you're admitting
they do.
Right?
They want their numbers up and they want their money.
Okay. Well, that makes sense, I guess.
Yes.
So do you acquire points now that you've admitted guilt that way?
Yes. If you are convicted of any speeding offense, you get points. Speeding 1 to 9 miles per hour over the limit, you get 3 points on your record. Speeding 10 to 19 miles per hour over the limit, you get 4 points. Speeding 20 miles per hour or more over the limit, you get 6 points. And speeding at that speed can be charged as speeding or reckless driving. And reckless driving is a crime. I'm sure everybody in Virginia knows that. But people outside Virginia, reckless driving is not a crime. So a lot of people are surprised when they're driving through Virginia and get reckless driving. It's a criminal charge and they have to come back to court for that.
Wow. Okay. So Shay has a question. Do they disclose that? So do they disclose? What do you mean, Shay? Elaborate on that for me. Do they disclose that you're admitting guilt if you pay online? Do they disclose that, Jean? Do they tell you that you're admitting guilt if you pay online?
I'm pretty sure they do. Yeah. And it's in fine print. But I'm telling you, yes, you're admitting guilt.
Yes. Okay.
All right. You have a conviction and you get points. That's another chapter of the book. So there's the fine, which obviously it's based on the number of miles per hour over the limit you were going. And if you speed in certain areas like school zones, business districts, residential districts, highway work zones, the fine is increased. But it's generally based on the speed. And then court costs, like I said, even if you don't go to court and just pay it online, you have to pay those court costs. And then the conviction. So that's another chapter too. Paying online, you are convicted. So some people, don't want to take the time to go to court or hire an attorney. But if you choose to pay it online, just know that you will have a conviction, and the points are automatic too. DMV points. There's nothing that can be done about it, and they're on your record for several years.
Okay, so for people who are out of town that might be cruising through Virginia, coming to the beach or going to the mountains, it's the same for them too, right? They can pay online and they're admitting conviction, but they could come back and go to court and fight it, correct?
They could come back and go to court, and if it's just a speeding ticket, not reckless driving, if it's speeding or any other traffic ticket, they can actually hire an attorney to go to court for them, so they don't have to come back to court. But yeah, they can come to court and fight it. Okay. So it applies to anybody, whether you're a Virginia resident or not. Anybody driving in Virginia.
Anybody drive. Okay. So that was my next question. Mary Kidwell says, what about getting a speeding ticket in Virginia, but you live elsewhere? It doesn't matter. It applies.
That is a very good question, Mary Kidwell. If you get a ticket in Virginia and you get points, those points will transfer to your home state, because 46 of the 50 states participate in what's called an interstate compact. So basically, if you can get convicted in one state, DMV is going to send that information to your home state. And I don't know what the 4 states are off the top of my head that don't participate, but Virginia is one of them. Okay.
And Maryland is one of them?
Yes.
Mary, so you better watch it. I know you live in Maryland. Okay. So, and then it's reported to your insurance, correct? And then you...
It's not automatically reported to your insurance, but insurance companies do random checks. And if they don't check it, it's usually every 3 years. So the longest you can probably go without your insurance finding out is 3 years, but they will find out. And then your rates will go up. And they go up based on a lot of things, but based on the severity of the offense. Was it speeding at a lower speed, speeding at a higher speed, reckless driving? What's your history with the company? How long has it been since you've had a traffic ticket? The area where you live, the kind of car you drive, a lot of things go into consideration, but long story short, your rates will go up.
Okay. Yeah. And speeding in construction areas is worse, right? That's a higher offense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The fine's higher.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Sometimes you're cruising along, especially if you're driving through Virginia, and you don't see those construction signs, and you're just you fail to reduce the speed. Even if it's at night and there's no one working, I think people just avoid that. No one's working, but construction defined zones are construction confined zones, right?
Well, actually, for purposes of the increased fine for speeding, there have to be workers present.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't matter. Oh, so there has to be workers present? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know that. That's interesting. Okay. Because in Maryland, they have, the car set up to take your picture. And if it's a construction zone, it doesn't matter. They're taking your picture and then sending you a fine and, sending you a ticket in the mail.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know about what they do in Maryland.
Yeah. I only know that because it happened to me.
Oh, I assumed.
I just got a picture with my car. It's like, what am I going to do? That's obviously me.
I don't say that. You can fight those things.
What did you say?
I said, don't just pay it and say, oh, it was already me. You can fight those things.
Yeah, I just paid it. They said I think in Maryland, they said if you pay it, it won't give you any points on your license if you go ahead and pay it. And so I've done that twice. When I was traveling around, I would get tickets because they had like these speed trap places set up in Maryland.
Well, for those camera tickets, you don't get points because that's just they handle it through civil court basically. And if you want to contest it, it goes to general district, like it goes to criminal court. But it's a civil offense of a fine. At least in Virginia, it's like $250. But you don't get points for those. You just have to pay the fine. Like usually those camera tickets.
But are you admitting guilt? Is that anything on your record?
You are, but it doesn't go on your DMV record.
Okay. All right. All right. What's the next thing that we need to know? This is interesting.
Well, so we're kind of bouncing all over the place. I wanna see what my next chapter was because it all kind of flowed.
Okay.
Oh, do I have to go to court? You don't have to go to court unless you want to fight it, like we talked about prepaying it. And DMV points, so why DMV points are a problem. If you rack up too many points in a short period of time, your license could be suspended. So if you get a certain amount of points, and I think 12 points in 12 months, you have to take a driver improvement class. If you get 18 points in 12 months, your license is suspended. And for juveniles, their license is suspended even sooner. So that's why the points are a problem. So you want to avoid, racking up all those points.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter is, can my driver's license get suspended? I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes. Not for speeding itself, but for racking up the points. And reckless driving, which is driving more than 85 miles per hour over the speed limit, or more than 20 miles per hour over the speed limit, that one of the possible penalties for that is a suspended license. So yes, your license can be suspended for reckless driving. And a lot of people don't go to court for that, and then they get convicted and their license is suspended and they don't even know it. But it's too bad. Your license is suspended and they're caught driving on a suspended, which is a crime. They could go to jail. I know, right?
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so if you get a ticket for reckless driving, why is it even an option that you pay online?
You can't pay online, but if you just don't show up to court, two things can happen. One, they could just convict you in your absence, which they will, or they will issue a bench warrant for your arrest because you failed to appear for a criminal charge.
Okay, so this is the point where you really need to contact a lawyer, right? Like where in this process for a regular speeding ticket and it's your first one out the gate, should you contact a lawyer first? Just to know your options? I would say
too, just to discuss it, because the lawyer can look at your driving transcript and know, exactly what you're facing and all that, and ask you questions that you might not think about, like out-of-state tickets, how long ago, how many points you have. So I would always say consult a lawyer. Okay. So then I know that I've just gone to court myself, on my own and, faced the penalty. How many times have you really won cases going and having them overturned for a speeding ticket? I heard that it's impossible. Is it really impossible? No. I don't. Oh, you mean as without an attorney?
Yeah. So if you go yourself and I know that people have gone themselves and argued the point and they rarely ever get any progress made. Is it, you got a higher chance of getting it overturned with an attorney? And with an attorney, have you gotten speeding tickets overturned, or are they just sticklers? You're just guilty out the gate.
No, you're first. You can go by yourself. You don't need an attorney. And I have seen people, win their cases or get something reduced. I can't say how often that happens because, I'm usually out in the hallway talking to the prosecutor, and I don't, but I have seen that. So yeah, it is possible. And in terms of overturning, it's not really overturning. It's, you try to either get it dismissed or you try to get it reduced, and a lawyer can tell you, what to do for the best chances of actually getting it dismissed so you don't have points on your license. Or if that doesn't seem possible, the lowest possible, the best possible outcome, I guess I should say, if there's no way, with your offense and your speed that they're going to, completely dismiss it, and you're, basically, caught red-handed, admitted to speeding, there's nothing you can fight. A lawyer can still, help to try to, tell you based on your situation, and ask you the questions, like, because everybody's situation is different, their job situation and all that, for what they can do to try to get it reduced or dismissed.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Step 1, don't get a ticket. That's the goal. Don't get a ticket. But if you do, you should seek advice from an attorney.
Definitely.
Okay. All right.
And most attorneys, by the way, will do free consultations.
Okay. All right. Good to know. I'm going to write that one down because I have a teen driver. Okay. What's the next thing?
Well, we already discussed this. Speeding tickets in Virginia impact out-of-state drivers. So, your local DMV will find out about it, and you will get points in your homes. The points you get in your home state, or however your home state punishes. So, for example, in Virginia, reckless driving is 6 points, but say in another state it's 4 points. That state will will assign 4 points to your record. But you'll still have 6 points on your Virginia record. So if you ever come back to Virginia, you have -6 points because you start at 0.
Okay. So if you have 6 points and then you keep racking them up. So if you rack up points, if your home state is 4 and Virginia is 6, and you rack up enough points in Virginia to get your license suspended, is that possible?
Yes, you can have a suspended license in Virginia, even if you don't have a Virginia license. You're basically your privilege to drive in Virginia is suspended.
Okay, so you can still drive in your home state or another state, but you better not be driving in Virginia.
Yes, however, when Virginia suspends you, that will most likely be sent to your home state, and your home state will suspend you too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a big bummer. Okay, that's interesting. Even if their point system is different, they'll still, if you're suspended in one state, it could carry over to another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, that is good to know. Okay.
Yeah, see, I wasn't kidding about all these consequences.
Yeah, this is crazy. There's so much more to it than what I ever thought. And I've gotten a couple of speeding tickets.
Yeah. So writing this book, I actually learned a lot more than I ever thought I would know or wanted to know.
Yeah, I actually went in front of a judge one time, but he was our neighbor. I grew up in a small town, so he was our neighbor, and I used to babysit his nieces and his two nephews. So I thought he was going to let me off, but he scared me. I was 18, and he told me that I could actually go to jail, and and I called my dad just in tears, saying that he had told me, Daddy told me I could go to jail, and he's like, I'll talk to him about that. That was ridiculous. He shouldn't have said that. I mean, he was just doing his job, but he thought it was funny I was in there anyway, but. Yeah, it was just a different kind of experience going to court. It's very intimidating. And I didn't ask any questions because I didn't know what to ask. And I was totally out of my element. I guess I admitted guilt and just paid the fine. But it was super scary. It's better to have a representation there to help you. So my mom has a question. How can you find out how many points you have?
You go to the DMV website and pull up your driving transcript, which I believe is free to access, and that will tell you how many points you have. Well, that's on the upper right corner.
Okay. Points everywhere or just for your state?
Oh, well, just for that particular state.
Okay. So if you got a speeding ticket in Virginia, but you live somewhere else, you should go to the DMV. Can you go to the DMV website in Virginia and see how many points they allocated?
Yeah. Well, it's based on where you got the ticket. So yeah, Virginia.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, even if you don't have a Virginia license, you still have a driving history in Virginia. So if you've never been on the Virginia DMV website, you just, set up your account really quickly, PIN number and everything, and then you can pull up your transcript.
Okay. How many points is considered reckless?
What do you mean?
Or what's the speed limit? What's reckless driving considered in Virginia? Because I heard they're real sticklers, and this is a nightmare in Virginia, right?
So reckless driving is driving 20 miles per hour or more over the posted speed limit, or driving more than 85 miles per hour, regardless of the speed limit. That's reckless driving.
Okay. So 20 over the designated speed limit, or anything over 85 is reckless.
Yeah, regardless of the speed limit.
Regardless of the speed limit. Okay. Okay. And reckless driving is a criminal offense, right?
Yep. It's a crime.
Okay. So talk to us about that.
So it's a misdemeanor. It's punished with up to 12 months in jail, a fine up to $2,500, and license suspension for up to 6 months. And if you're driving at really high speeds, in some counties in Virginia, you are going to jail. Like there are some counties where if you're over 90, and even some if you're over 80, judge is going to sentence you to jail.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Now, is that true for minors, or is it more strict for minors? Because, they all, they tend to drive sometimes a little fast, speed demons. And so are they also the same punishment? No matter, even if they're juveniles, they could still go to jail for that?
Yes. It is the same punishment because the misdemeanor charge applies to anybody. But It's just that if a juvenile is convicted of a misdemeanor, eventually that will drop off their record. It doesn't automatically go away when they're 18, but it eventually goes away. Whereas with an adult, that conviction will not go away. But yeah, they could go to jail.
Wow. So as an adult, that will never go away. That will never go off your record.
Yeah. So in Virginia, you cannot expunge any convictions. It doesn't matter how minor you think it was or how long ago they will not expunge anything. For juveniles, which is a later chapter in the book, any felony convictions never go away for juveniles. So misdemeanor convictions will eventually be they'll drop off. They'll be erased from a record 5 years after the person turns 19, or 5 years from the offense, whichever is later. For offenses that were reported to the Virginia DMV for some weird reason, they remain on the juvenile's record until they are 29 years old. And then when they're 29, they go away. DUI, reckless driving, driving unsuspended, that kind of thing. I have no idea why, but that's just the way that it is. So you can have an assault conviction as a juvenile, and it'll go away when you're like probably 24. But if you have a reckless driving, it's on there till you're 29.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. Here's a question from a young driver. Do parking tickets count as points on the license?
No, parking doesn't count. That's not a moving violation, so there's no points.
Okay. And then Mary, and she's living in West Virginia now, but she says, how often do you see jail time issued?
That's a hard question to answer.
But it happens, right? Some are more strict than others.
It depends on the county. It depends on the speed. It depends on if the person did anything before court to try to help their situation. So I don't know. I mean, that's a hard question to answer.
So say this is just your first offense and you've had a clean driving record. Is that persuasive enough to forego jail time? Is it when it's multiple offenses that you see that more frequently as a punishment?
Yeah, I would say so. And then also the speed, because even if it's your first offense, but you're driving like 100 miles an hour, I mean, that's something that you're facing jail.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Chris says they look at the totality of circumstances. Okay, Chris. Chris has been pulled over, but he likes to talk his way out of stuff. But Chris, you better be careful going 85 or higher, because that's reckless driving in Virginia. I didn't know that. That's scary. Okay.
It actually was 80 miles per hour, that they recently upped it to 85 this July.
Okay. Or just 20 miles over the speed limit.
Yeah. So if it's 25 miles per hour and you're going 50, yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. I know we skipped around. This is interesting. Tell us more.
The next chapter was, will my car insurance go up? Yes, we already talked about that. Here's a good one. Will a speeding ticket affect my life insurance? It actually will. When you are applying for life insurance or trying to get better rates, they look at your driving record, because if you have a lot of traffic tickets, speeding, reckless drivings, DUIs, they view that as a risk. And you most likely won't get denied. It's possible, but the rates that they quote you will be higher than somebody who doesn't have a bad driving record. So it will affect life insurance. If you have life insurance, and you get a ticket or a criminal offense, it's not going to affect it unless you go to try to switch insurance or get better rates.
Okay.
But yeah, so when
That's interesting that it would affect life insurance.
I know. I didn't think about that one before either.
No.
I found that out when I was talking to somebody who was selling life insurance. I'm like, yikes. And if you engage in, this is a tangent, but engage in sports like skydiving and all that, they ask if you've ever done that. And then that makes they might deny you for that too.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well, it can be, if you are speeding and it is, it's not being responsible, and it can cause accidents and things and like threatening circumstances. So it makes sense. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't have ever thought about that. Chris says, I'm in hot pursuit like Buford T. Justice. Yes, you are. Okay. Shay says it's on the life insurance app.
Yeah, it is. Mhm.
Wow. I did not know that. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Wow. That's a
And you
lot.
mentioned car accidents. The next chapter is, can I be sued? Yes, you can be sued. So if you're speeding and there's an accident involved, and if you prepay the ticket, sorry, there's a dog. If you prepay the ticket, that's a conviction that can be used against you in a civil trial. Or if you go to court and you're found, but actually if you go to court and you're found guilty, that can't be used. I mean, it can be used against you, but you're not admitting guilt. It's basically admitting guilt that's the problem.
Okay, so you get into a traffic accident and speeding was involved, and you're issued a citation for speeding, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you're issued a citation for speeding, and then whatever you can be issued for speeding, and then whatever the accident, if that caused the accident, if there was more to it, right? Or you're just issued, like if you cause an accident and it was speeding, how would they even know that? Just determining it?
Oh, well, I mean, if there's an accident report, if there's an accident and then you get charged with speeding.
Okay. Okay, so then you don't want to admit, can you pay that? Is there an option to pay that online?
Yeah, you can pay it, but if you pay it, you're admitting guilt, so you're going to be convicted, and then that can be used against you in the civil trial if you get sued.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm surprised that that's an option to pay that one online. They don't require you to come to court.
No, not for a speeding ticket.
Okay. Good to know.
Hi, Jane.
All right. What's the next one?
So there's more. So your bond or probation can actually be affected if you get a speeding ticket.
Okay, so
if you're on bond for a criminal charge, and if you get any infraction, like even a traffic ticket or a speeding ticket, that can. I'm doing a live interview right now.
Nice. Great for you.
Yeah, so it could affect your bond. Like if you've got pending criminal charges, usually they're not going to violate you for a speeding ticket, but it could happen.
Okay. So, all right, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the next chapter is speeding over a crime in Virginia. We already talked about that. If it's charged as reckless driving, it is a criminal offense. The next chapter, Chris might be interested in, could I lose my security clearance? You can lose your security clearance, not for one speeding ticket, but if you have what they view as a history of reckless behavior, that can actually affect the security clearance process. So a bad driving record, criminal charges, DUIs, things like that.
Okay, that's interesting. Good to know.
So if anyone has a security clearance out there and thinks, oh, it's just a speeding ticket, I would definitely consult an attorney before just paying it.
Okay. Good to know. Okay, here, I got a question. If you get a ticket for an accident, do you get points?
It depends on what the ticket is for.
Okay.
Most traffic tickets have points. So, I mean, most likely. But it just depends on the specific ticket.
Yeah. Okay. Mom, you should go on to the Ohio DMV and look up if you have points on your license. Okay. Shay asked, so if you get a speeding ticket, the only one to pay online is the camera ticket?
No, you can pay the camera ticket online, but again, I would always suggest fighting that one too, or at least talking to a lawyer. But okay. Speeding ticket, yeah, you can pay online. You can pay online or you can go to court.
Okay. So with the camera ticket though, Jean, I mean, they got you on camera.
Yeah.
Really anything that
they might not have your face. It may have been someone else driving your car.
I've always thought about that. That is true. Okay, here we go. Suzanne brings up a good point. Sounds like paying online isn't the smartest thing to do at all. They do advise you to do that though.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I would definitely consult with an attorney first, so at least you know what you're looking at in terms of points, and then go from there. Some people just don't want to go to court; they don't want to hire an attorney, and that's fine. But at least if you consult with one, they can tell you what you're looking at based on your points and all that. Because a lot of people, they'll just pay and pay and pay, and then before you know it, they've racked up enough points, and then they got a suspended license.
Yeah, and I think too, Suzanne has a teenager. I think for myself as well, like if, you just think we just want to, pay online and instead of going and fighting it and not even consulting anybody, that can be really detrimental to your juvenile driver.
Definitely.
Okay. All right, this is good to know. All right, what's the next chapter?
Could I lose my commercial driver's license? This does not apply to a lot of people, but if you have a commercial driver's license, you, like a juvenile, you get your record gets impacted much more quickly. So speeding at 15 miles per hour over the limit actually is a problem. Like it's specifically 15 miles per hour. There are certain offenses where if you accumulate enough of them and you have a commercial driver's license, you will lose your commercial driver's license. Ooh. Or for a specific period of time.
Okay. If you lose your commercial driver's license, does that impact just your regular driver's license? The commercial one?
Well, in Virginia, you can only have the one. So yeah, you can't drive a commercial vehicle.
Okay. But could you drive a regular car? No.
Yeah, if you're not suspended.
If you're not suspended. Okay. All right.
But there are some offenses where you can be disqualified as a commercial driver and suspended, like DUI and reckless driving.
Okay. Interesting.
But it just depends on what the final actual result is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then I mentioned this several times earlier, juveniles punished the same way as adults. They are not. Any juvenile that gets any traffic ticket resulting in points cannot pay it online, or if they do, they have to come to court and have a notarized signature with their parent. The parent has to be involved, so they cannot hide it from the parent. So can't be paid online. They have to come to court if they're going to prepay it. And if they go to court to fight it, a parent has to come with them. The parent will be subpoena necessary to go to court.
Okay, good to know.
And then also, if they get one offense that results in points, they're going to have to take a mandatory driver improvement class. If they get two convictions before they're 18, resulting in points, regardless of how many points, their license is suspended. And if they get 3, their license is revoked until they turn 18.
Wow.
Or for 1 year, whichever period is longer.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, the odds of racking up 3 offenses, before you're 18, usually that revocation period just expires when they're 18.
Okay. So even if they get one offense, they're taking it, there's repercussions. They're taking driver's ed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So all right. Makes sense.
The next one. Will this affect me in the future if I get another ticket? Yes.
Yeah.
The police officer will see it when they pull your record. The prosecutor will see it if you fight it in court. The judge will see it. And then, like I said, the DMV points just rack up. So yeah, it will affect you. So that's why it's important not to just pay it, because if you just pay it, it's after the appeal period has passed, you can appeal it within 10 days. But if you pay it and that 10 days is elapsed, you're gone. Like you can't go back and change it. And then if you ever get another one in the future, there's nothing that can be done until that drops off your record.
Okay.
And I just mentioned this. Can I see this flows so well? Can I appeal if I lose? Yes. If you pay your ticket online, then change your mind, you can appeal it within 10 days. It has to be 10 days, not 10 business days, 10 days. And if you go to court and fight it and lose, whether it's speeding or reckless driving or any other misdemeanor, you have 10 days that you can appeal it. And then the case goes to circuit court. And then you have basically another chance to, either try to negotiate or try to fight. But at that point, you've seen how a trial went. And
yeah.
And then a lot of times people go to court by themselves without an attorney, and then they appeal it. And that's when an attorney comes in for the first time.
Yeah. Okay.
Is there anything I can do to help my case before court? I alluded to this earlier. You can take a driver improvement class. But before, and you can do community service, things like that. But before doing anything, I would consult an attorney, because every county in Virginia even has specific requirements and things they'll accept and they won't accept. Like Arlington for a while only accepted a specific driver improvement school. So if you did a driver improvement school elsewhere, they didn't care.
Gotcha. So, good point. Okay. All right.
And my last 2 chapters, if I got all of these, do I need an attorney? Well, an attorney can tell you what you're facing. An attorney can go to court for you. An attorney can obviously represent you if you go to trial. An attorney can tell you all the things to do before court based on your particular situation, what's likely to get you the best result. And what happens if I don't hire an attorney? It's just the opposite of that. You don't necessarily know all the consequences. You don't know the things to say in court. You do have to go to court yourself. And if you don't go to court, they'll just convict you in your absence. And if it's an offense that is jailable, then they could issue a bench warrant for your arrest if you don't show up. And a lot of people are confused and just don't go to court for reckless driving. I've seen people with driving on suspended get bench warrants and reckless driving for not going to court. And
Wow.
bench warrant is a warrant for your arrest.
Yeah. Okay, what if they have reckless driving here in the state of Virginia? They live somewhere else. They could hire you and you can go to court for them if they don't want to come back, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen it where people just get reckless driving and they're not even aware that they're supposed to come back to Virginia? Or do they tell you specifically you have to come back?
Well, it's written on the warrant that you have to come. So there's a box they check if you can prepay it. And if it's not checked, you have to go to court. So yeah, they tell you. Yeah.
They tell you. Okay. All right. Okay. But even for that, for reckless driving, do they have to come back? Can you represent them or do they actually have to come back for that?
Well, so in general, they have to come back, but they can hire an attorney to represent them. And basically their appearance for the first court date is waived if they sign a waiver. But if the prosecutor is insisting on jail time for that particular charge, the case will get continued and then they will have to come back because the judge cannot sentence anyone to jail, even suspended jail time, if they're not present.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Well, that's really interesting. So gone are the days. I know one time we were driving down to a funeral for a family member who's in Indiana. And I think my dad got a speeding ticket in Kentucky. And it was just like, he just paid it. We lived in Ohio at the time and he just paid it. But the smart thing to do now is to consult a lawyer. So how do you find a lawyer if you live out of state? What's the best way to go about that? Google?
If you have connections to the state, ask, somebody you know. But yeah, Google. Okay. That's how a lot of people, Virginia is a big state. I get calls from people, for tickets and crimes in counties that I just cannot track to because it's 8 hours away.
Yeah.
But yeah, Google. Google speeding attorney or traffic attorney, Fairfax, traffic attorney, Prince William, something like that.
Okay. And what should they look for, Jean, when they're trying to hire an attorney?
I would look for an attorney that frequents the county where they were charged, because every county has different procedures. Like I said about Arlington, if you are not from the area, you wouldn't know that about Arlington. Certain judges will give you jail for certain speeds. Certain prosecutors will not negotiate anything based on certain speeds. So I say that because it's important to have an attorney local to that particular area. Like if somebody gets a ticket in Richmond and wants me to represent them, I'm going to say it's not a good idea because I can represent you, but I'm not in that courthouse every day. I don't know the judges. I don't know the prosecutors like I do in Prince William and Fairfax. So I think it's very, very important, regardless of actually, frankly, whatever the issue is, even if it's a civil case, look for an attorney that frequents that area because they know the judges, they know the rules, they know the procedures. And that's important because if procedures aren't followed and, certain time periods elapsed, there's nothing, you can't go back and undo things.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'd say that experience, obviously, I would say somebody that focuses on traffic and or criminal, and definitely somebody that is local to that county.
Okay. And that's really good advice too for parents who have college students that are out of state, going somewhere out of state. They're really adults, but it would be best to consult an attorney that's in that state or in that particular county to help.
Oh yeah, I would say that, regardless of whatever state it is, if you have a college student or a kid in another state, definitely find somebody local to that area.
Okay, good to know. Suzanne says, my one and only ticket was dropped from the attorney I hired from all the mail offers to represent me. That's good.
Yeah.
That is good. I never heard of attorneys reaching out to you directly. I've never had that. I didn't have anybody come and offer me advice.
Yeah, I'm not really going to get into whether they can do that or not.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's been interesting. So, Jean, so some of you on here are not, so again, this varies by state, right? This is specifically for Virginia, but there are some other laws that, are similar to other states. But I guess the case in point is don't just pay it online, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should at least consult an attorney. Typically the first consultation is free. So there's no reason to not consult an attorney just to understand what your, what your rights are and what to do next.
Definitely.
Also understanding that it's county by county too, right? So it's not even just state by state, but county by county, which is interesting.
The laws are the same throughout Virginia, but the way that they are handled can be different based on the county.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. So if you're in Virginia or you're driving through Virginia and you have a traffic ticket, definitely look up Jean. You can find her here, humbricklaw.com. You can find her in the group. She's definitely a goal getter and she's part of the group, or just reach out to me. I can definitely get you in touch with Jean. And where can they find your book, Jean?
Well, maybe you can put the link.
Yep.
So if you go to Amazon and then search More Than a Fine, the book is available on Amazon.
Okay.
I'll just see if I can find it quicker.
So More Than a Fine, and it's on Amazon.
Yes, I'm pulling up the link right now.
Okay. So we'll post the link in the group. And Jean, if you could send me a picture of your book, I'll go ahead or if you just want to post a picture of your book in the group with the link, you can do that as well. So then people can just look it up and find it. I know I like to see a picture of the book to make sure I'm getting the right one. But I mean, how many Jean Hambricks are out there that are writing a book on traffic fines?
Yeah, I think I'm the only one. I just put a link in the comments.
Perfect. All right. I'll snag that and put that in the group too. So, okay. Any final thoughts?
For me, I don't know. I would just say, always consult an attorney, for traffic tickets. Well, I mean, you can represent yourself for anything, but I would always consult an attorney, at the very least, find out what you're facing. And I would say, I would hope that most attorneys are honest and tell you, you don't need me, or you're going to be fine, or you really need to hire an attorney. You shouldn't go do this yourself. So I would always consult an attorney, and don't just pay it. Like, consult an attorney first. And then if you decide to pay it, that's fine. But at least find out, all the consequences, because I mean, we breezed through a lot in this past 50 minutes, but obviously there's more and more specific, and it's case by case. So every situation is different. Yeah.
So definitely get the book for a deeper.
Well, I didn't want to say that. I need to be better about promoting myself.
You do. Get the book. Get the book for sure. So my mom says, slow down. That's such a mom thing to say, but it's true. Slow down. Suzanne says, great information, especially for my new teen driver. I agree. This is a very interesting topic, and one that you don't think you need representation right off the bat. I think I was guilty of that, So Shay brings up a good point, cruise control.
Yeah, true. But, be careful about that, because there's a lot of places where the speed limit changes.
Yeah, absolutely.
But be aware of the speed limit.
Yes, for sure. My mom says, thank you, Jean.
Thank you, Charmaine. Thank you for watching.
My mom's
awesome. I love her.
We always say we have lead feet. We definitely are fast drivers. So this was definitely good information. I appreciate you coming on. It was great to have you, Jean. Thanks so much. I'll post a link directly for the book. So if you're interested in it, go to Amazon, get the book. If you're interested in connecting with Jean, humbricklaw.com, and you can reach out to her, and she's a member of the group. So you could just send her a DM directly, and I know that she'll get back to you. So if you're in the state of Virginia, traveling through the state of Virginia, or, just even curious and have questions, I'm sure Jean would be happy to hear from you. And so, and keep her in mind for as a referral. If you get it, if you have a teen driver, you know someone and I know a lot of these social media groups, I've tagged you in them before, where they're asking about speeding tickets and such. Jean is an excellent resource, and I highly recommend her. She's obviously very knowledgeable, and she's someone with a book, so she's she knows her stuff. She wrote a book about it, literally.
Yep, I wrote the book on it.
All right. Well, thanks, Jean. It was a pleasure having you. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and share this valuable information. We're a goal-focused group, so the goal is don't get a speeding ticket. But if you do, make sure that you're adequately represented and seek out an attorney and a good attorney to help you with that. So, all right. So our monthly focus this month is habits and creating good habits. So next week, we're going to talk about goal success and how habits can help you contribute to that coming up. So again, I'll be back here in the group next Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Slow down, be safe out there, and we'll see you then. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Jennifer.
Thanks.